And welcome back to another exciting edition of Survivor Hot Takes, starring me, Emily, and as well, Coach Drew. How are you doing, Andrew? I missed you dearly.
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to get the season started.
What have you been up to?
Since the last time we spoke, which was like 2 weeks ago?
I know, it's been 84 years.
Week?
We text periodically. I wish we texted more, but you ignore all my texts.
That's not true, but that's absolutely not true. No. I'm really excited to get the season going. The way that everyone's hyping it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hate 43. We've talked about it enough. 43 was fine. Not even fine. I think it was really good. I think that people were overly pissed off at the winner. I think they should get over it by this point. But I do hope that 44 can kind of bring everyone together again. That's never going to happen.
I know.
Maybe this will be the
season. Can we all just get along?
No, that's not going to happen.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, especially on this Sunday evening. We have two amazing people who are like two of my favorite people in the world, next to Andrew, of course, joining us. We have a returnee, Trav. Hey, Trav, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
So happy to have you. And also one of my very dear best friends, Kayla, who's actually going to be joining us. Me, Andrew, and her are going to go to New York City this week to meet Sandra, the Queen, and Johnny Fairplay and watch the 44 premiere around other Survivor fans. So, Kay, how are you?
Yes, I'm so good. First time on a podcast. So.
Oh my gosh, welcome. One of us. So Kayla, she's another super fan just like us. But as we always say, whenever we bring someone in, we always want to ask them like what one of their big Survivor hot takes is. And I've been like holding it in, waiting to see Andrew's reaction because it's going to be explosive. So are you ready?
Oh, yeah. So my hot take is that Jonathan should have won.
Which season? 42?
Yep, season 42.
He won't even look her in the eye. All right, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Kayla, why do you feel that way? That's beautiful.
I'm a big challenge person, and he did everything he ever needed to do. And he got his tribe through challenges, literally pulling them through the water. I'm a big challenge person, and I thought he deserved way more.
So do you think that his social game played up to, like, was comparable as well to his physical game?
Yeah, I know it wasn't. I know. He definitely had word vomit, I feel like. I feel like he didn't think when he spoke. Right. That's just my opinion, but I feel like he should have at least made it, not have to make fire because I felt he deserved it more than anyone. But again, that's my take.
I'm just going to say that Lindsay was also a challenge beast that season. I'm pretty sure no one's sitting here saying that Lindsay should have won 42. She was really good. I loved her. Yeah.
I loved her. I would love to see her come back.
It's not like Jonathan won 5 immunities or anything. He won not as Lindsay. But whatever. It's fine.
I was waiting to see an explosive reaction. And honestly,
I'm not going to. People have opinions for a reason. But
he's doing inside.
He didn't make it to the end. So he didn't even make it to the end. So there's no, you can't. He can't. Should not have. I don't know how to phrase this. He couldn't have won because he didn't sit at the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
It does. But
do you think he has like a chance? Like, let's say that he made it back. Like, which I feel like he'd have a chance
you mean
to come back.
Make it back for another season?
Yeah. Well, do you think that he learns from okay. Well, he could.
No, not even close.
Trav, do you have any feelings on Kayla's hot take?
So yes.
He's like, no.
So my hot take is Jonathan only wishes he was as good of a challenge beast as Ozzy.
That's a good
one.
Okay,
that's not
that. I agree with that though, because I feel like it's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Well, I love this hot take. This is a good one. This is a good one to set us off. So we're all gathered here today for the most iconic moment. I've been talking to Andrew about doing this for so long, and we finally have a really, really good shot at being able to do it and kind of revisit it a bunch. So we're going to be doing a Survivor fantasy draft. It's super, super fun. We use the Fantasy Survivor game. If you look it up online, we'll include it in the description after we're done with our podcast today. But basically, I'm going to explain how it works. We're all going to be discussing different people that we feel like we would really like to have on our team. These people are called power players. So first, we're going to be talking about which people we feel not necessarily would win, but are going to make big enough moves that are going to earn us points. These players earn points by winning an immunity challenge, winning a reward challenge, making fire, which is a weird one, or finding an idol. So all of those rules, again, are found in there, but that's just kind of a brief description to give you an idea. So anytime they do one of those, we get points. We're also going to be discussing today who we feel our winner pick is going to be. And then the other added bonus with this is every single week we're going to be revisiting to kind of see who wins and where we're tracking. The other component that we won't be able to discuss today is who we're going to be putting our votes on. So basically every tribe we get 10 points, and we basically wager these points to determine who's going to be getting voted out every single week. So we'll revisit this every week. I don't mean to brag. I take this very seriously, and I am the reigning champ, hence my name. I've won now 2 of the last 3 times, and I'm not stopping now. So I'm looking for a good contender. Basically how the structure is going to look is we're each going to go one by one to discuss who our top 3 players are. We won't know who our 2 power players are going to be until 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So Andrew and I are going to revisit that whenever we come back live. So I think that I think I handled that pretty well. Anyone else have any questions? No, we're all good. Gucci. All right. So before we go into all of our people, I want to talk to everyone about, first of all, we have to talk about the important elephant in the room. We can still change these rankings till 8 p.m. on Wednesday, but because you're all my chosen allies, we have to put your hand up and say, I vow not to change them. You guys cannot change them after we voice them out today. Deal?
I literally was already going to change my winner pick, but he's locked in, I guess. No,
if you can until you say it out loud. So if you change yours, that's fine until this moment. Perfect. Until you say it out loud. So I wanted to ask you guys, I think, Trav, I'm going to start with you. I want to know what your process for selecting your power players versus your winner was this season.
Oh my. So I probably changed the order of I've been thinking about it the last few days, but today was actually the first official day that I actually sat down and was putting them in order. And literally the person I had first when I first started this exercise was my last person.
That's crazy.
So just overall thinking about it, I just think, especially with Maryanne winning, going back even further, I think they learned a lot of lessons from Erica winning. I don't think they want that situation to happen again, in which somebody that's not even really present on half the season ends up winning. I think they're going to do everything in their power to have someone like Maryanne, someone like Gabler, who are 2 really great characters and stuff like that. I think that we're going to see that continue and see some characters, leading the charge and win this season. And there's a lot of them in this season. So it was, there's just a lot of people that I can see, either winning it all or being the first out. So
absolutely,
it's hard.
And I want to tip my hat to them, exactly what you said. That the fear was that people were being under edited. And I feel we even kind of saw that a little bit in 43. So I think that their strategy this time was to really over edit it and give you a lot more ideas of different possibilities that could kind of ensue. You know what I mean? So Andrew, I want to hear yours. What was your process for your selection this time? I know it's probably not as calculated as mine was.
It was not. I made a drink and I watched their videos. There's a compilation on YouTube. And I watched their videos and I went based off of how much I enjoyed what they said, where they were from. Maddie is from Maryland, so she's on my list. Spoilers.
Interesting. I can't believe you spoiled that. Goodbye. You're already off.
If they're hot, that's important.
Okay.
No discrimination, just if they're hot.
It's just such a random thing to say.
No, but honestly, if I could sit there and watch them and say, I could sit here and watch their confessionals all season, and I'd be interested to see how they might perceive these things that have happened in the past on the show. That's my real answer. I was just saying stupid shit to start it off. And I think that I have a good list. I think that I've put together a list. I also put together a list of people that I know that the internet fans are going to be rooting for the entire time, similar to a Ricard, Shan,
I love that.
Or High, or who was it from last season? I mean, Cassidy at the end, but mostly Jesse.
Yeah, right.
I have a list of people that I feel like the internet is going to root for, and I wouldn't be surprised if their name showed up on some of, or not all of your lists.
If you go after my one, I will literally come for blood. Like, I'm going to be so upset if you take the one person that I need. Like, it's a need.
This person might be, I don't know.
Based on what you're saying, I think that you have two of my people.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay, so Kay, I'm going to go to you. Tell me about your process of selection for today.
Yeah, I'm a big vibe person. So
me too.
I read through everything and I go off vibes. Mm-hmm. Like some, I was reading through the interviews and they're real contradictory. Some are trying to play up, the nerd, the quirky girl. So I go off of vibe, and I also go off of what mistakes were made in past seasons. And I just don't think there's always a lot of change. So
this is so exciting. Man, all these super fans all together. I'm so excited.
I do want to add one thing to my decision making that I should have mentioned too. I have been pretty spot on. If people don't know, I'm a track and field athlete, and I was a track and field athlete in college, and marathoner and ultra runner now. So if there are people in the field that have been big, track and field people in the past and stuff, I did that research. I looked in their mile split and the track and field reporting service. So I know which of these people have had, that experience in the past. So that also influenced some of my decision.
I remind me, whenever we get to one of these people, I have to ask you a question. So at the very end, I'm going to ask you if any of us have this person. Because someone taught, he was helping with speed school. I'll get to that later though. Perfect. And so my policy, which I think I've talked about this so many times, I have this kind of down to a science now. I'm pretty serious about it. I do I watch everyone's videos, I read all their interviews, and then I listen to the interviews they have with Mike Bloom prior to. Those ones take more time. So it's a commitment. But then I rank them based on how I feel like they'll be in challenges, at camp, and strategy. And then I also add an additional piece of just if I just feel like they're going to be how their overall performance is going to be in general, just for day to day with withstanding the elements, So I have it down to an average score, and I'm very excited about it. I think that we're off to a great start, you guys. It's going to be great. Okay. My last question before we go into it. Does anyone have any red flags that were coming up where you're you will absolutely not be in my top 3?
I did.
Tell me, Kayla.
This was when so it was so contradictory in the interview. So my first one was the first person on the page, Claire.
Oh, really? Why?
Because she wants to stab people in the back, but her most favorite thing is loyalty. So I don't know. It just got me the wrong way there.
I kind of going off of yours. Mine was the same way. I was if anyone said that loyalty was the thing they're looking for in an ally, I was well, that's going to be a big challenge, because if loyalty is your most important component, you can't trust anything that anyone's telling you anyway, So yeah, that's a very, very good point. Anyone else have any red flags that they were I absolutely can't?
Danny, for obvious reasons.
Oh. No, I want him to make it. I love his Sasquatch heart. I love him so much.
Oh man, I when I first saw his interview, I referred to him as Roydie Magoo. It's just stereotypical NYC firefighter.
I have him in my top.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He could win. That's not. I'm just saying. For obvious reasons.
And he also he was the one person to say, which Kayla, you can refute this once we get there, but he's the one person to say that he didn't have a strategy. That was a red flag to me too. So he's not going to be in my top 3 for that same reason. Trav, did you have any red flags?
Yeah, so there was only one person that everybody else I could kind of see making some noise, but the only person that really gave me just nope from the get-go was Jamie.
Why Jamie?
Well, she said twice. It just I saw there was one video that I was watching that was kind of talking about it. I totally agreed with it, that she said in her EW interview, relationships is everything in caps, twice.
Yeah.
And she just, it's she's not from corporate, but she still has that corporate mindset. And it just seems a little a little fake
Absolutely.
to me. And especially if you're marketing yourself as like a TikTok creator, I just
challenging.
I don't know. Yeah, she was the only one that I just and she
Yeah.
reminded me a lot of again, I've been going through a lot of the older seasons the past couple months, and the first boot on what was the last Tocantins? So her name was like Carolina. She just reminded me so much of her.
Absolutely.
And so I could be wrong. Like, if she proves me that's great, but I just can't see it.
They gave her like an interesting edit too, like for the first 3 minutes, because I watched the first 3 minutes a few times too, to kind of focus on who was being edited a lot, you know. And her edit, like she like fell out of the boat, and I was like, oh no. Like normally, whenever that's like the first like impression of you, like you aren't gonna be the winner. You know what I mean? So
two of the last 3 seasons, Gabler's portrayed as like not a fool, but like
a goober, a goober.
And then Marianne is looked at as more of the childish character. So like, it's not like
it's not like you completely write them off, you know. But I feel like they were still composed like wild cards, if that makes sense. Like I didn't see them like they didn't like capture them like being like floozy and like, you know, falling all over the place. Like they were a lot more intact. You know what I mean? Cool. So, okay, are we ready without further ado? Are we going to pick our power players? Are we excited? So this is a reminder to the audience. These are not the people that we think are going to be the winners necessarily, but we're the people that we think are going to be the most dynamic, meaning that are going to get the most points throughout the entirety of the season. So let's rock and roll. I'm so excited. Jay, I love your enthusiasm. Okay, let's do it. So the first one, I'll start with myself because I'm the reigning champ. And then I'll move over to you next, Trav, okay? So my first person is Jam Jam. If anyone else gets him, I'll be devastated. Is that you too, Trav?
I named my team Aqua Dump for a reason.
No. Well, okay, so we're fighting. It's already happening. I loved him. These are my reasons. I love that he was marketing himself as like a beauty salon owner. I thought that was really cool because he said that like he has to navigate through the social game all the time because they have like all the gossip, and he has to kind of sift through what's true and what's false. I think that's like every day being on Survivor. And then the other thing that I really liked is that he literally survived Hurricane Maria for like 90 days without power. And I feel like this will be a cakewalk compared to that. I couldn't imagine having to go through that much. And then he also compared himself to Cirie Fields. And I feel like a lot of people don't compare themselves to Cirie anymore, you know, and he didn't add anyone else. So I think that like, if you're comparing yourself to her, you know, you're like her, you know what I mean? So that's why I chose Jam Jam. Did anyone else choose Jam Jam?
Can I say something?
Yeah. What, Andrew?
Okay. So I'm going to drink every time one of the three of you say someone from the list of people that I have.
I love that.
As far as who the internet thinks are going to do well or power players, whatever. And you've just named one. So cheers.
Dead to me. Dead to me. But that's a good transition. Okay. So Trav, so you have Jam Jam. So why did you have anything else you wanted to add to him at all?
Yeah, it was just a lot of the same things. I mean, you know, that's one of the reasons why I'm pretty high on Matthew too. They both work in like very front-facing, customer service industries where you're going to be trying to identify and adapt to a whole bunch of different people. And then he has the experience of, what we were saying about the hurricane, and then just wanting to be, play a game like Cirie. Like it just, I don't know. It just seemed pretty obvious to me. He seems like the type of person that, is going to make people put a smile, going to have that facade, put people, have a smile on everybody's faces, but then be able to do a lot of magic in the background and everything.
Absolutely. So,
and he seems like he's like tough enough and built enough that he could, survive in, challenges and really contribute. And, as long as he's not, holding anybody back there, I think, he's going to fly through the merge. I believe.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, I think he definitely has a good, and he's very like highly edited too, which is another thing I was looking for, Okay, because you already said Jam Jam, so now I'm going to move to Kayla for the next person. Kayla, who's your next person? Who's your first?
My first is Matt.
Ooh, so Matt, not Matthew, just to be clear.
Correct.
Right? Okay, got it. Ooh, I love that. Ooh, we love the diversity. Go ahead, give it to me.
Yeah. I really liked one of his comments was that, you know, no longer riding coattails. I already told you I'm a challenge person. I don't like when people hide behind people.
Mhm.
So I think he's gonna put himself out there, but he does look to be pretty genuine. Just again with my vibe thing. I think he looks genuine. I think he could have good people skills, but he is one of the runners, and I think I think he can actually, even though he's a little tinier than some of the bigger guys, I think he can actually outlast some of the challenges, kind of like Cassidy. Yeah.
He warmed my little heart in one of his interviews too, because he compared himself to Eric Reichenbach. Like it just he could sense that vulnerability. You know what I mean?
That's what I just think. He seems really genuine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you warmed my heart. So perfect, Kayla. Great start. Okay, Andrew, it's your turn. Okay, well, you're currently muted.
I clicked the button and it didn't. All right,
He doesn't want us to know.
Who do we want to go with first here?
Don't do it. I already know who you're gonna pick.
Bruce?
No.
That's racist if you thought I was gonna pick Bruce.
No.
I'm just playing. But I love Bruce.
Did you pick him? Is he on yours?
Bruce is on my thing, yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Why?
I don't know how to explain it, but he almost from the beginning, I really felt like I connected to him. I know that's such a cliche answer or whatever, but like Bruce is the person that I have gone back and watched the most. Mm-hmm. And thankfully in the compilation video that's on YouTube that I have queued up so I can like look at people's faces when you guys bring them up. Thankfully he's first on there, so I can just keep going back to him for that. But like, I really enjoyed. Yeah, I think. Oh my gosh, I'm fairly certain. I'm not a foster child, but I'm fairly certain he grew up in the foster system.
He did. It was a really inspirational story too. It's like he was with his family, like they had like over 200 kids coming in and out, and his family adopted him. Super inspirational.
And you know, as everyone that listens to this knows, you know, I'm always cool when it comes home, and I feel like he's our best bet, folks. But also, I just feel like he. This is gonna sound really, you know, I feel like he's gonna be like better Roxroy.
A lot of people are saying that. Okay,
cool. So I'm not the only one. All right, perfect.
No.
Better.
Everyone's saying that.
He'll be better Roxroy, and I loved Roxroy towards the end of his time on the show. So, and I feel like that type of game could win now. I feel like we've jumped. You know, we've made the leap from the big moves type aspect of the show to like, hey, as long as you did something and you were social enough, you're probably going to win, unless you're next to someone that did it better than you. And I do feel like he could be the type of person that does do something and is also socially adaptable. I know we learned last season, it really doesn't even matter anymore if you did something pre-merge or merge. As long as you did something and you did something better than the other two, you're probably going to win.
Blows my mind.
No offense to the Gabler haters. I know there are a lot. He won. Get over it.
All right. That's a great one. Okay. Wow. Okay. So I like how this is going because I feel like a lot of us are going to have a lot of very different things that we're looking for. This is really cool. Except for maybe me and Trav, who are going to have the same people, and then that'll be like devastating. Okay. So my next person is Lauren. Does anyone else have Lauren? No? Perfect. That means she's probably going to be on my league. I'm excited. Okay. So I'm obsessed with her. Oh, you did? Okay, you're dead to me. So Lauren, she's an elementary school teacher, recently divorced, mother of two. I really love that she described herself as both resistant and adaptable. I feel like no one else described themselves as adaptable, and that's a really important quality to have. And if it's one of the three words that you're going to use to describe yourself, you're going to be more conscientious with it. I really liked her. I looked at her social media, and it just gives me like very warmly calculated vibes almost, if that makes sense. Like, and I was like looking at her Tika, she's on the Tika tribe. She's on like the Ratu tribe. And I was also kind of looking at like all of her different pathways, because it is such a social game. I could see her working really, really well with both like Maddie and with Jamie, like if like as like an all women's alliance, but I could also see herself working really well with like Matthew as like a new, like a 2.0 Ricard and Shan sort of alliance. So I think that she has a lot of options, especially in a really small tribe. That's really important. So Andrew, why did you choose Lauren?
Because she's hot. I was like,
okay, great.
No.
Why else?
No. I feel like you covered everything that I would have said about Lauren. So I'm not going to sit here and repeat everything you said because we're 25 minutes in and we still have to get through a lot of people.
You have so much to say. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so yeah, Lauren is on my list.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you. That's good. Okay, so we're going to move to Trav. Trav, you're the next one.
Okay. So I'm actually changing my list again for the billionth time in real time. So
oh my gosh, you should get us out here live.
I flipped my 2 and 3. I just feel very drawn to Carson for some reason. I maybe like I don't, maybe it's just like I feel like they're showing him a lot. He feels like he's going to be a big presence on the show. And I also just kind of like the draw that he got in his tribe too. I just feel like he's going to be underestimated. And I think he's actually going to be like a really good, threat in challenges too. I think he could.
He looks jacked.
Yeah, he's not going to be like I don't think he's going to be like a Stephen Fishback or something like that. Like, I think he could actually like, so I think in that, I think he's going to have to just really, really focus in on trying to really like put his money where his mouth is. Like what we were saying in the bios, just being emotionally intelligent and really showing that he can, build those relationships. I think if he can do that, I think, yeah, he's going to be really, really fun to watch this season.
That's interesting. Kayla, I see you shaking your head. Tell me why you disagree.
I thought he came in overestimating himself, to be honest. I thought that he is like the largest know-it-all in the entire world based on his and I think he thinks that he is like gonna come in and just kind of think he's the smartest in the entire room and kind of try to take over. And I don't think they're gonna like him at all. But
interesting. I think that it's going to go one of two ways. It just depends on who else is on his tribe and how they're going to perceive him. So like when I'm going to look at his tribe really quick. Like I could see him and Carolyn vibing, or him like Jam being like, yep, like you're my person. I can bring you in with me. Or maybe even like Helen being like, okay, like, like I could see him finding people to connect with, like, and people wanting to just like be there to shelter him because he's so young. Does that make sense? Like, which would carry him on.
I think he's going to use that and kind of use people for that. I think he's going to use people, and they're going to.
Could be a good strategy, though. It could be.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
We're going to find out in 3 days. I'm so excited. All right, Kay, give me your next person.
My next one is Heidi.
Ooh, why Heidi? That's a new one.
I thought she was the strongest female in the group, to be honest. I did. She has both sides of it. I really liked how she said she wanted to be like Sandra, but actually like partake in challenges. And again, it says she's, played basketball. She's a runner. She does CrossFit. But she also has like the mind, I feel like. She came in, I really like that, she's who she's representing. She never spoke English before she got to America. I feel like she has like the social, the mind, the strategy, and I feel like she actually is like super strong.
Yeah, and us Pittsburgh girls got to stick together too. It's exciting to see someone from Pittsburgh finally like come in.
South Hills represent.
Let's do it. One of us. Perf. I love that. Anyone have any comments on Heidi at all? No. Cool.
She was one I could see like again. I had a hard time reading her, either going out early or I think she could. Yeah, if she can play like a like you said, a Sandra type game, but be more, more of a threat in challenges. I think she could be very exciting this season.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm excited to see her game.
She's really jacked too, but for a 40-ish woman, I mean,
she runs half marathons. Like I'm actually like I was telling Kayla this earlier. Like I'm running the half marathon this year in Pittsburgh, and I'm like I might even literally be running this with her. Like it'd be crazy.
I'll be crazy.
Yeah. And Trav, you're running the full marathon. You're gonna win the whole thing. All right, Andrew, it's your turn. Give us your next one.
All right. Let's see. The next person I'll go with is it's everyone. Okay, so I'll go with Brandon.
Oh, Brandon caught him
because okay, so everyone knows the long storied history of athletes on Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, they don't do well. For the most part, for the one person that'll be like, but what about this person? For the most part, professional athletes do not do well on this show. And I feel like he'll take the Danny route and, make it decent enough into them. I don't see Brandon winning, but I do feel like he could be a part of a tribe that does win enough that by the time they make it to the merge, he kind of just chills a little bit. Whether he's throwing challenges or not, I feel like he could chill and kind of, go with the flow. Also, for all you sports fans out here, he played under Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is kind of a player's coach. Now, Pete Carroll does pick favorites, but that's for another podcast. Pete Carroll is more of a player's coach, and I feel like based off how old this man is, Pete Carroll, to be able to relate to certain individuals who could be like 22 to 33, 34, you have to have a certain type of personality. And I feel like that goes on the opposite direction of, in order to be someone that Pete Carroll relates to, you have to be someone that can adapt and be closer to people that might be older than you, or people that you might, come from different backgrounds or whatever the case is. So I feel like until he name dropped Pete Carroll in his video, I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever, cool. I'll root for you because of the other stuff. But like, once I heard that, it's like, okay, I actually know Pete Carroll's. I know Pete Carroll's perception, or the perception of Pete Carroll in the NFL. And I feel like he could do well. I obviously do not think he will win, but I do feel like he could do well enough that, people will look at him as more of a Danny as compared to more of a, I don't know, who was a pre-merge athlete.
But what's the baseball player that was not good? He, like in Blood versus Water, he got like critiqued a lot because he was like a racist.
Rocker? Yeah, John Rocker. Okay, yes. As compared to John Rocker,
he wasn't a vibe.
I think he'll be better than John Rocker. So I think he's off to a great start. He won't be second or third boot. I can't remember exactly what boot he was. But I'm really high on him, and I hope that he does do well.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him. The one question, this actually is a good transition because I had to ask Trav this question too. He literally, like, his job, like he does like security specialty jobs, right? But like he also like teaches kids how to run in like speed school. Like, and so my question for you, Travis, how do you think that that's gonna shape, like, if any, his game? Like, is that gonna matter at all, do you think? I've never even heard of speed school before.
I don't know about the speed school, but
yeah.
I mean, I kind of like, I mean, I like them just, kind of what, Drew was saying. I mean, you have to be, especially to be on the Seahawks during a time like that and stuff. He's coming with a lot of experience, and he's so well versed in so many different things, and has to just relate in so many areas of life and stuff. I don't know about the speed school, but
it was a weird thing. And I was like, does Trav know anything about this? Because he's a runner.
But he's a pilot too and stuff. So, I mean, he's definitely, he can be dependable and stuff and take on that, just the risk of being, a pilot. Like, there's so much pressure on there. Like, that's a lot.
I don't know, like, how I feel about him, like, to be honest. Like, he's so well versed in so many things, and I'm sure that he, like, was also very self-taught in a lot of these, which is really cool. But I think that like what makes me nervous for his game is his ego, you know, like I don't know what his ego is going to look like coming in, you know, but like I like to see when I'm looking at players that piece of vulnerability or the pieces where like they had to learn something or they weren't perfect at something. And he gives me the vibe where he's a little bit more of a perfectionist in that realm and he doesn't know how to adjust to failure. So like, and I think that that's going to be something where he's going to have to really make sure that his ego is constantly in check, especially with the platform that he has. So that's like my only critique with him. Kayla, do you have any thoughts on Brandon?
I have him in the middle of the pack. I don't think he's going to be super likable, but again, I could be like so wrong on that.
I could be wrong too.
I just don't think he's going to be,
yeah, likable. I agree.
Kind of in the same way as Carson, but just like in the like sports aspect of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, now we're in the last one. Are we all excited? I'm so excited. Okay, cool. Okay, so my last person, I chose Carolyn, who like we love her, the blonde bombshell goddess of chaos. Like she's everything. She's the moment. I love her. I chose her for a lot of reasons. She's gotten a lot of screen time, mainly just because she is just so kooky and like I love her quirks. I think that she's someone who again is going to have a lot of different pathways when I'm looking at her. Like she has the opportunity of having that all girls alliance, depending on like how receptive the girls are to that. Like, and I think like she and Jam Jam are just going to like eat each other up. I can feel like they're just going to like be best friends forever. I love her story being like the drug counselor and the recovering addict. Like, I think that that's like really powerful. And she works with people in prisons, which I thought was like really cool too. I think that it really helps to expand just her social like capital. Just learning how to interact with so many different people from so many different backgrounds and having that counselor background, I think is also really important. So I just really appreciate her vulnerability. I think that about that is going to make people really connect with her and also in that same way underestimate her. The only thing I'm nervous about is that she's coming after the same wave. Like they just watched 42. So they're going to know that quirkiness of like the Marianne, like I think that's going to be something that's going to be more shed in the spotlight. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyone else choose Carolyn? No? Angel, I thought you were going to choose Carolyn. That's why I was panicking the whole time. All right, you're still muted. Okay, you're muted.
I know. Carolyn's on my list of people that people were going to say.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all that is. I like the internet is praising her as their new savior along with a couple of other people. So like y'all can have her. I'm sure she'll do well. She might actually win, but there's no way no. The internet is very bad at picking winners. So,
but she's so cool.
Yes, I don't deny that she's amazing, and she comes from she's played orgs. So
yeah, she's experienced. That's perfect.
But
cool.
yeah,
could be.
We're good. We're good on Carolyn.
Fine.
I'm hopeful. Maybe she can do
as you should be, because just you wait. I'm gonna win. All right, Trav, your turn. Your last one.
Oh man, I again changed my list. It just is what it is. I'm going with my gut. I really like Josh.
Mm-hmm.
He gives me there's a few things. One, he's very athletic. Two, he's had and hear me out. He's had all these issues with like he had stomach cancer and stuff like that. So like everybody's going to be like super hungry and everybody is going to be really feeling that, but he's already used to like that pain and everything, like more so than everybody else. So I think that's going to play a big factor. And and what I kind of see with him too is I can see him playing a Ricard like game, and I hopefully like in his interview he came off maybe a little egotistical to me, but there's something about I'm hoping that he can play Ricard like, and I think he could be a big dark horse in this game.
I didn't choose him for that specific reason. I was very nervous about like just his health ailments. Like I think that that's something that's really going to be exacerbated, specifically in in this specific season, like with all the elements. And I'm nervous about how that's going to play intact with all of his health conditions too. Does anyone else have any feelings on Josh? No? Cool. Okay, great. Kayla, your turn.
Yeah. All right. I kind of already said this, but my last one is Danny.
Tell us why.
Okay, because I think, the internet probably loves him. He's probably, good looking guy, but I think you want to put him in that like bro cookie cutter status. And I actually think he has more depth than that. Like, I know I just talked about Jonathan, but I think you don't just become like a New York firefighter just like for bro status here. Like, I feel like you have to care about people. And like his story, I feel like he actually has gone through a lot. And he obviously has like the strength aspect. He ran a 34-mile marathon, but I feel like he actually cares for people. Like from reading about him, I think he has way more depth than like who you might put him in the same category as personally.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think that the big thing was helping his sister raise his kids. I think that to me was like well, maybe. I'm very nervous for him because he has no strategy coming in. I understand where he's coming from, but that makes me so nervous.
I kind of got it, but I also feel like maybe he just like didn't like, I don't know. I feel like he has more than he's like saying.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful, Kayla. Good job. Good job, both Tribe and Kayla. That's beautiful. Okay, Andrew, your last one. Give it to me.
All right. I spoiled this earlier, but it's Maddie from Maryland, who is no longer in Maryland, but she grew up in Maryland. A few reasons. One, everyone say it with me because she's hot. But also, I grew up in a small family, as far as the amount of children, the amount of siblings that I have. But I also feel like because I grew up in a larger family, as far as the amount of people that were in it, not including, or just including my siblings, I feel like that has taught me how to adjust to certain situations, adjust to certain people of a certain age, beliefs, all of that. And I feel like she did touch on that in her video. But the other thing is, she comes off as very reserved in her interview, and I think a lot of people might. At first glance, I got, for anyone that actually knows Survivor Caramoan, she gave me Julia, the NASCAR driver or the race car driver vibes, which is not a good thing. But I feel like people will keep her around a lot longer. And she's also said in her interview that she's tired of it being like, oh, well, this woman won because of their social game, or this woman won because of their social game. She wants to be in the shit. She wants to be the person that's dictating certain things. And for me, I'm a person that's a big advocate of the social game. So like, this is kind of me straying from what I usually enjoy. But because I liked everything else about her, including the fact that she came off as kind of reserved, if that type of player can be strategic and can convince people that it's not her idea and that it's their idea and that they're running the show, I think that she could turn it on when she needs to at the end and say, hey, you know what? I'm this person, but like, think back to it. Who was the person that put this thought in your head? And who was the person that put this thought in your head? It was me. So I feel like she's my dark horse. We'll go that route. She's my dark horse. She could just flame out first, but she's my dark horse. Let's do this next week, and we'll find out.
And we'll reconvene.
Because which ends up being first boot, and I'm like a moron. But.
I don't know how I feel about her either. I was kind of like iffy. I think that another red flag that I had that I didn't mention earlier was that like if someone quits their job to be on Survivor, showing me that you're impulsive and you don't have a backup plan, and that makes me very nervous for you. Like, so like that. Like, so she quit her job. She was like a charities manager, and she chose to quit while she was living in New York, which it makes me so nervous, especially with inflation in this economy. What are you gonna do? She had a few like little quirkyisms. Like she referred to herself as like a swaggy Malcolm, and her interests include like laying in the grass. Like I had so many like little notes where I was like, who is this? But I appreciate the dark horse. That's a good one. Yeah, okay.
She just didn't come off as like, what it seemed like she was in her bio. Like she was talking about how like, oh, one of my biggest accomplishments is finding the hottest guy in New York and, dating him. And like,
this is so weird.
Like saying that she was feral, but again, she could be a good challenge beast. We got ourselves an ultra marathoner. So
yeah, that's very true. I think that she'll be set for a little while. So. Yeah. Kayla, any thoughts you want to add on Maddie?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of her. I think she's gonna try to be like resident quirky girl and like resident hippie and be like, oh, free spirited. Like, and I think she comes off really fake personally.
So we're gonna see how that all plays out whenever she's in like a social setting. That'll be fun. This is exciting.
Pixie Dream Girl. God. All right, whatever. Still February.
Okay. We've reached the grand finale. Everyone drum roll. Okay, we're all going to be announcing who our winner pick is. So this is the person that we absolutely think is going to make it to the end, and who's going to win the Survivor 44 without seeing them at all. Which is, I wonder if we are going to have the same people, because I've noticed like a few people that haven't been brought up yet, and I'm wondering. So I chose Matthew as my number one. The barbershop owner. Did you choose him too?
I did.
Perfect. We can have the same one. Like this is different than the draft.
Okay.
I chose Matthew because I loved him. Like I love his, also similar to Jam Jam, like that he's like a barbershop owner, and like he just gives me like very socially genuine vibes. And he compared himself to Elaine, and like obviously 39 gets a really bad rap, like considering the atrocities that happened. But like Elaine was, I loved Elaine, and they had a lot of really great characters, and unfortunately it was ruined by an unfortunate circumstance. But like I love also that he's like super outdoorsy. He's very focused on humor. I think that's a very underrated skill that you need whenever you're building relationships. The only thing that's making me nervous is him climbing that rock at the start of 44. We're going to see if that's going to be part of a medevac. I don't know.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, there's definitely going to be some sort of medevac. I'm confident. But it won't be for my bestie, Matthew. So Kayla, you chose Matthew too. What else like drew you to Matthew?
I think that actually his interview just kind of, I think it's what it left out. I think he'll actually be really good, and I think he's not telling us everything.
Yeah.
And he does go on adventures and stuff because other people are telling us, how smart they are and everything they did. And I actually don't think he says enough, and I feel like he's actually going to come out of the woodwork and be good. And he does have like, he has done things like he's okay with the outdoors, and I think same thing. I think he's really genuine. So I think the combination.
The other like piece that I was kind of noticing too was like he was the first person in the trailer, which I thought was interesting. And then he was the last person that they featured on the first 3 minutes when they were getting the few people's takes. And that to me symbolizes a full trip, like a full circle moment.
Trust from both. I think he'll have trust from the women and the men.
I think so too.
I think so.
He's someone that I want to be best friends with. Like I really feel like he's gonna make it far. Cool. All right, so Trav, you're next then.
I'm gonna go with Jam Jam.
Jam Jam?
Yeah, I think like for all the reasons that I said before, I think he's gonna be very, very likable. I think he's gonna hold himself really well in challenges and everything. And he's going to convince a jury and everything. So I think, again, my team name is Aquadump. I have to have him as my winner pick,
That's
go
perfect.
big or go home. So
Jam Jam's an amazing person. He also has like a ton of feature too. Like I think that's a great choice. Awesome. In real time, we have a super special surprise guest, the king, the myth, the legend, John Buckley. Is John in, Drew? Oh my God!
Here I am. I'm right here.
Hi! Oh my God, I'm so excited. John is also going to be joining us for New York. So excited to see you in 2 days.
I know.
So we're going through like our winner picks right now. We would love to hear yours.
So I've been choosing violence for the past couple seasons, in which I don't watch any of the preseason like videos.
Nothing?
Because the past couple of seasons, I can't tell anything from them. Yeah, sure, this person loves knitting and doing yoga, but are they going to win Survivor? I don't know. So like, I only go off of their cast pictures and the preseason like promo video that they air at the finale.
I love that.
People that I'm vibing with the most, I'm going through because I honestly don't know anybody's names. Yet I literally, it's a really cool experience to not know anything until you start watching. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know.
Isn't it fun?
I didn't know Heather's name for 4 episodes in 41.
Oh my gosh.
I honestly didn't. Yeah, no, it's great. But I'm Team Carolyn.
I love that. She's one of my power players.
Like, I want to root for Yam Yam, but I don't think he's gonna do that well. I don't know.
How dare you?
I'm on the fence because usually people that I like are the ones that get fucked over. So I'm drawn to them. That means they're gonna go home early, which I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying
it has to happen. No, it has to.
But I don't know. There's something about this Heidi woman that just seems like she could be like Chaos Cast Part 2. Maybe it's the yellow dress. Maybe it's, I don't know. It's a vibe I'm getting. I don't know anything about her. I know nothing. It's just looking at her picture. I have.
Do you think that she's gonna be like Chaos Cast in all the right ways or all the wrong ways?
Yes, like I'm like I don't know. I'm getting a vibe.
Yeah, I love.
It's like
were there bad ways about Chaos Cast?
Chaos.
Were there bad ways about?
I plead the fifth. I don't want to say.
Bad ways about her in Cambodia when she didn't know she was. It was like her first time.
She's a moment. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing, John. It was so exciting to see you. Andrew, tell me yours. I need to know.
This is my winner pick, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, before we get to that, the names were Carolyn, Carson, and Yam Yam were the three names of the people that I think the internet is going to stand this entire season.
You're right.
So it was fun to hear all three of their names mentioned by all of you throughout the night. My winner, and also my winner of potentially able to dethrone Queen Hannah Shapiro as far as all-time Survivor crush, is Franny.
I knew it.
Because, all right, so she definitely gives Marianne vibes in her interview. She comes off as very eccentric, just very, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to do all these things. I'm happy to do all these things. But she says, I'm looking forward to cutting people and just kind of hoping that they don't hate me afterwards or like, because, the fun of the game. And I feel like she's young enough. I think she might be 2 years older than Marianne was when she played. I might be off by a little bit. That I feel like people might try to put her in that fourth slot or third slot on their OG tribe and then just kind of go to the merge and forget about her. And then she pulls off a move or two and sits there and says, hey, people underestimated me because of this, that, and the other. But I did this and I did this and I won. Now, I know that contradicts my whole it's coming home mentality, but I do feel like Franny, for those reasons and the first reason I brought up, I do feel like she could be, and probably, I won't say will be because I don't want to look stupid in 15 weeks, 13 weeks, whatever it is.
In 3 days.
Will be in 3 days where she gets voted out. To be the winner of Survivor 44. And I do feel like people will be pissed off because Survivor fans are always pissed off because that's how they live their lives, apparently. So, I'm looking forward to that.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And I love that we all looked for different qualities in a winner. I think that that's really cool. Great. Okay. So, how confident are we in all of our picks? How do we feel? Like a 12? I'm nervous about this season. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Like, I think that that they did such a great job at editing every single person that I can't figure out who's even going to make it to the end. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see if they do a good job of editing every person during the actual season.
Right.
When there are other people on camera.
We'll have to see.
I feel like that's been a big issue with the last three is like, oh, okay, yeah. We'll give Roxroy a say here, but for the most part, we know he's married and has, eye trouble, but that's it. We don't really have to
love Roxroy.
Yeah,
he's a moment.
Yes, whatever that means, yes.
All right, cool. Okay. Well, I think that we wrapped everything up. We're gonna reconvene, I guess. Me, John, Andrew, and Kayla are all going to be going to New York. Trav, you'll be severely missed, but next time. And we'll reconvene after all of our winner picks have been selected, and we'll continue to track how our fantasy league's gonna go throughout the season. So wish us luck, you guys. I'm excited.
And we will be doing hot to we have to come up with a day of the week this semester.
We have more freedom this week.
I don't know why I always say semester. So we're pretty college.
We have more freedom this season.
We do.
So
whatever day of the week that we pick will be a consistent day of the week that we pick, and we will be able to have our favorite people from the past 3 seasons.
And maybe more. Maybe we'll see.
And maybe more. to come out and discuss the episodes. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that 44, like I said at the beginning, I feel like 44 might unite the community. Let's hope.
We'll see.
I feel like the community hasn't been united since I thought 39 until I realized that there were some people that are like, oh, well, we don't know everything. So maybe 37. I feel like everyone will come together like we did for 37, unless you hate 37. And I feel like we'll right the ship for one season before they do a returning season for 45, which I think is going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's going to happen 46, but I think that the next cycle, we're going to get there for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But thank you all for hopping in. Thank you, Emily. I've done your draft for the last 2 seasons,
4 years. Yeah. We have people from everywhere this time doing it. It's going to be we're going to have John, remind me to send you the link if you want to do it. Okay, we're going to do it. But it's going to be so fun. I'm so excited to do this with you guys this year. It'll be fun. I can't wait. Can't wait to beat you all.
And make sure to tune in to Survivor Hot Takes throughout the season, and we'll see you on the other side. Also, Jay's pick is let's just put that on the screen there, so everyone knows that I'm not a crazy person. Brandon is also Jay's pick to win too. So
we're gonna do
we'll
it.
see you all on the other side.